versus just like wildly good players on bad teams. So for the end of the list, I just fucking
Here, is this good chat?
I just threw in the towel and started adding a bunch of IGLs to the bottom that play
you're
like
one of those
an
guys.
all right game.
The
Yeah.
IGL value, huh?
Yeah, so
Okay,
my
I
list is
respect
just
that.
peppered with IGLs.
Okay.
So I mean, at the bottom in number 20, I've got Vanity.
Vanity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I can see where you're coming from. If you're valuing the IGLing, I mean,
I have a very high value on like IGL and team structure rather than just popping the fuck off.
Okay. My number 20 is Derek Overwatch.
Ooh,
I respect
that is who I have
respect
in number
that.
20 right now.
Okay,
I can tell you, I've got him on my list.
Oh,
same.
But
I
he
have him on
ain't
my list
20.
as well.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he had to be on the list given how good he's been for Rise in recent times, right?
Yeah.
He's just been so good.
I think I've won the list so far.
We've shown one name, you fucking dude. Okay. All right, Mike, who's 19? Who do you have?
I have automatic.
Automatic. Oh man, I was
Automatic also on my list, but not at number 19.
Really? Interesting. Who do you have at 19, Josh?
Again, same Papige IGL shit.
Steel.
Oh, here we
Steel.
go. You have
Literally Steel.
Oh, like this.
I had
fucking
Steel
guy.
at 19.
This
as
guy
well,
is
really.
such a nerd. All of the
problem is, by the
nerd
time-
players in here.
By the time I got down to that level, I was like, surely they've got to be included somewhere. Like, and then I like I said, I just gave up with like my bottom three. I
Okay.
just threw a bunch of IGLs in there.
All right.
FNS up next.
Yeah, he is.
No, all right. In mine, I have Corey at 19, actually.
Okay. See,
I
I
have
was
him on
thinking
my
about him
list.
for one. I bumped him off my list for those IGLs.
Okay. See, I at the end of mine, I bumped him on later. And that was the one I was feeling pretty wishy-washy about, but I think he has to be on the list given that FaZe are like at least in recent time, have been performing consistently in the top 8, and he's been clearly the main reason for that. Even though, you know, FaZe have their flaws, but Corey is, you know, he has been a major reason for them actually being in the top 8. So
I was seriously considering him.
Yeah. I think there's an immense amount of players that you can consider for this like 15th to 20th that are all reasonably, you know, around that level. But all right, Mike, who do you got for 18?
Corey.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Pretty close then. Kind of on the same page here. Not mad at that.
We're getting on the same page now. Less goop going on.
Yep. Josh, who's... Oh, you said FNS.
FNS. I'm still in the goop land.
Yep, this guy's just all about the IGLs. I have Zombs at 18. Is that crazy?
Zombs did not make my list.
Okay.
I feel like it's... Yeah, I think it's just like the Astralis effect. The role that he plays on the team, he does incredibly well, but I don't think it's a large enough role. And it's overshadowed by a lot of the rest of the players on his team that he doesn't need to have that same level of impact that some other people do.
I can see that point of view, so I could understand why you wouldn't, but I don't know. I think you have to have all the Sentinels players in the top 20 right now, honestly. I mean, despite the like what you mentioned with the Astralis factor, I still think that he's just too excellent of a support player and site anchor that he has to make the list. But it is also why he's not super high up on it. All right, Mike, who do you have at 17?
Steel.
Okay.
Steel at 17. Interesting.
You're giving him more credit than I was, actually.
I think you guys might be. I mean, Josh definitely is, but I think you guys put more value into the IGLing. I didn't really factor it in.
I mean, Steel
that
also
much with my
like
list.
Steel is also like one of their most aggressive players on that team, even when he's playing Sentinel.
Yeah.
One of the most aggressive, like the third?
I mean,
At times I think he's even more aggressive than Ethan.
Yeah, he has been in the past. I don't know whether he is currently.
yeah, it doesn't seem like he is
The
currently.
KO limits that, but like
Yeah.
when he was playing Sentinel mostly, which since it's from April, I'm factoring that in. But I think
Sure.
between that and the IGLing, I'd put him. I think the
Yeah.
bottom four are pretty interchangeable though.
All right, Josh, what about you?
Then I'm going for automatic. I wanted to give
Okay.
automatic credit, but he didn't sneak too high up the list.
I don't
He
have
has
him on
improved
mine.
so much.
He really has. He was another person that was on the cusp for me that I was thinking about in one of these bottom spots because he has improved so much. I mean, he was so good for T1 in the last qualifying run, but yeah, just barely did not make it on mine. For me in 17, I have Nizma, which is a bit higher than
So
Mike's,
everyone
but
freaks out when I put this much.
no, only Josh was freaking out. Josh was freaking out.
I'm also freaking at him being at the 17th spot. But I will say I don't really watch many of their games, so I'm missing it completely. I think I've only caught like 2 of his most recent games.
He is an outrageously good player in like all aspects of the game. He can play all the roles. He's super consistent with fragging. He has great firepower. He's clutch. He literally can do it all. He is such a well-rounded player.
Also used to play for Wyatt's organization. Definitely no nepotism going on there.
No nepotism. I mean, listen.
I tried to sign him.
Also owns a restaurant, evidently.
Does he really?
So he does it all. Yeah, apparently. I think Koler said that in my chat before, that Nismo owns a restaurant and is also a pro, which is...
And a dad.
My God.
He's doing it all. He's living the fucking dream. All right.
That's wild.
16 mics.
Derek.
Oh, okay. Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Bit higher than me, but again, these are all reasonably close, honestly. So I'm not mad at Rise Derek being up there. Not mad at that. What about you, Josh?
I've got your boy Dre here.
Okay. Speak on it.
He has been bizarrely impactful recently. Like, outrageous. And I realized that he was doing incredibly well. And then I was just doing a cursory glance over the stats and shit. And he's just at the top in terms of ADR, KPR, stuff like that. Like, he's having a way bigger impact beyond even what you realize when you watch the LG games. He's just currently popping the fuck off, and he has been for like the last 3 months, even when LG were kind of sucking a bit. So I feel like,
not mad at that.
Absolutely
not
deserving
mad at that
of being
at
on the
all. For me, at number 16, I have dephh, actually.
See, I have dephh way higher.
Yeah,
do
I
you?
have him way higher.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. This is one I was going back and forth on, and I think it was part of it was due to where I wanted to place other xset players. And I was thinking about putting dephh. I was thinking about putting dephh higher, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Even though he has been an excellent player for xset recently, obviously. And he's done a lot to turn the team around. But I guess I kind of want to see a bit more too. For some reason, I just have it in my mind as well that I feel like I haven't seen enough of him as of late with just coming into xset, and I kind of want to see a bit more. But I think he's one for me too that, like, if we ever updated this or something, he could certainly move up higher on mine, you know?
So Zeke just died of fall damage on split. He just
off B heaven.
in the middle of a retake, and he just jumped off B heaven and died
really?
of fall damage.
All right.
I think he took some damage from someone on the way down.
15, Michael.
Zekken.
Yep. Not mad at that. On my list somewhere here too.
Yeah, I've got Zekken very close to this spot, but that isn't my pick here.
Who do you have?
This is where I got Rise Derek.
Ah, okay.
We haven't even hit Derek
Dude,
on Mike's list, right?
No, we did. He was
I
16.
put him
He
at
was,
he was
he was
16.
16 on Mike's, yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Our Derek
I guess
support
it's
is very high, which is, I think, pretty reasonable given,
I was so impressed by that
given
guy.
how
He
good
was
he's been.
just getting all the important kills, like the round turning kills in the round. He's just
Yeah,
so consistent with it.
yeah. My number 15, I have Marved, which I don't know if that's. I feel like that might be low for Mike's, but I don't. Did you put him on your list, Josh?
He didn't make my list. No, I do not have all the envy players on my top 20. It was
Don't
one of those
listen,
things
Jimmy.
where. What? Sorry.
I said, don't listen, Jimmy.
I I have yet to be phenomenally impressed by Marv. I think he's pretty good, but I've yet to see him as like who else do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, maybe yeah, I think I have like 3 smokes players on my list, so not that many. And I feel like it's a role that gets a huge amount of attention or impact a lot of the time. But yeah, there's like 3 players that I have above him. One of them being um, the IGL vanity, I suppose, where his stonks are just being inflated by the fact that he's IGL the team to
Your
Reykjavik.
IGL stonks are up. Yeah, I thought I've been really impressed with Marv since he joined Envy. Honestly, that's just kind of where I'm at out with it. I think that he played really well in the first qualify in the open qualifier when they went through, and I think that he was really good in the Berlin qualifier that just happened. I thought his anchoring was crazy. I was really impressed. I thought that his utility usage on Astra was great on attack. I think that his on-the-fly decision-making with the ults were really good. I think he was in that tournament, honestly, I think he was probably the best Astra in my mind, which is why I have him so high. Yeah, and I know that, yeah, you could, I mean, I can see putting dephh over him for that tournament, sure. Or zombs, maybe, if you wanted. But, yeah, to me, I think he was the best Astra in this last qualifier, which is why I have him, but it's also by a small, not like a crazy margin, which is why I have him just above them.
Fair.
So, because these are all, I still think we're in like a place where these are really close, to be honest.
Sure.
So it's not by a crazy margin, just like slight edging them out. All right, Mike, so who do you have in 14?
Marved.
Okay. Mike and I kind of on the same page here with the Marved decision. What about you, Josh?
This is where I've got Zekken. So pretty similar to Mike's valuation of Zekken.
Yeah?
I think he's been extremely good for XSET.
I also have Zekken in 14. So
There you go.
We are... this is actually closer than I thought it was going to be.
Way different.
Yeah, I thought that this would be way different, but this is actually relatively close. Is this the first? Yeah, this is the first exact match I think we've had. Yeah, I think Zekken was just way too. He's been so good on XSET, and I don't know how much we're factoring in from past stuff, but I mean he was just a freak before he was on XSET too. So had to be up there. Mike, so who do you have on 13?
Leaf.
Leaf pick.
Okay, I have Leaf way higher up than this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually.
Okay.
Actually, well, I mean, when I say way higher, no, that is pretty significantly higher. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm high on the Leaf stonks. He has been incredibly impressive to me.
Okay.
Put him back on the Rays.
Who do you have in 13, Josh?
This is where I've got Ethan.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I think, especially in the recent tournaments, Ethan has been a huge factor to 100 Thieves' success. Both in terms of playing the Sky, the Omen has always been fantastic as well. I feel like he's definitely had like the shaky periods when he was first introduced to the team, but now he looks pretty fucking good, I think. He's worked through a bunch of the inexperience in terms of not, I guess, feeling confident to go for certain things. And now that he's got that, yeah, he's leveled that team up.
This is one where we are definitely all in a different mental space. Oh wait, no, it isn't. This is mine with Leaf. Oh shit, I actually mixed up my 12 and 13. I'm actually on the same page with Mike's. Whoops. I thought I thought this was someone else. Never mind. On the exact same page. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing where you had Leaf, Josh.
I have Leaf extremely high up.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he's a class player.
I mean, he definitely is. 13th is very good, and he probably.
Yeah, I mean, 13th is still good. All of these players are extraordinarily good that we've got up here.
Oh yeah, and if I mean, honestly, I think if we got to see more Cloud9, he probably would have been higher on this list if they didn't flump out. If we actually got to see more gameplay from him, because even this weekend in this NSG thing that's going on, he's playing Jet and he's just farming. All right, Mike, 12.
Nitro.
Okay. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. Josh?
This is where I got Victor.
Okay.
Which I feel, when I looked at my list, was a lot lower than I was expecting to put him at. But I also feel like the crazy heights of Victor just hard fucking carrying games have not actually been that recently. They were a long time ago in terms of him just, picking up the Phoenix and fucking running over teams. And now he just is a very consistent, more well-rounded player who doesn't hit those absolutely going to hard carry you a game moments as often. So I feel like this is a pretty good spot for him to be at.
Okay. In my number 12, I have your boy Dre. I have him up pretty high.
You do have him up
I
pretty
do
high.
have him up pretty high. And I mean, honestly, kind of for the same reasons you were talking about, Josh. I guess I just valued that even more because Luminosity had their best run in a while this past qualifier, and he was just in prime form. I mean, he was actually just feasting on every team they played against. I mean, he is just out of control at the moment.
He is in statistical god mode.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of the reason why I have him up here. And if LG were a more successful team, he would probably end up even higher. But yeah, I just couldn't ignore how excellent he's been over the past few months. I mean, he is just an anomaly at the moment, but it's kind of still flying under the radar. All right, Mike, who do you have at 11?
I have dephh.
I'm not mad at that. Have him, I mean, higher up than me. And you have him on your list somewhere too, right, Josh?
I literally have him right here as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. I feel like, this is not just because he has been an enormous difference maker in terms of his IGLing for Exet. The evidence before and after dephh is so clear as to his impact. It's like it's not even like not even like a lot of other IGLs. I mean, he's turned their attack sides around in a way that anyone could see. And then he's also one of the best fragging smoke players. I guess he normally plays the smokes, but he does play a little bit of Cypher. But his fragging is extremely good as well.
Yeah, definitely. No pun intended. I honestly doing this now. That is one of. I mean, my list is fucking terrible. I think if I were to do it again, I might move dephh up a bit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Anyhow. My number 11 is Nitro, so pretty close with Mike's here. I mean, Nitro is just mega consistent. He's incredible on Omen, super consistent for 100 Thieves. Even his Aster was looking really good, even though he said he didn't feel comfortable on it. I mean, he's just absolutely one of the top controllers in the game. Has to be near the top 10. Just barely didn't make it.
That's also where I've got Nitro.
You have it 10?
I guess. Wait. One.
I mean, I was
Yes,
given my
I have
number
him.
11.
Okay, I didn't realize you were at the end of the cycle
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah. No,
beginning of the next one.
I was at the end of 11.
Okay, well, I guess I'll kick off number 10 then. That's where
UK
I've got Nitro.
education. Okay. We're all pretty
That's where
close
I've
with
got
Nitro.
Nitro.
All pretty
Yeah,
close
very
with him.
close. I
Yeah.
think he's a world-class player. I think he's the best smoke player all round in North America.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. Mike, who do you have at 10?
Wardell.
Ooh. Wardell at 10. Interestingly enough, I too have Wardell at 10. Given that he was crazy for TSM over these past qualifiers.
Well, wait there, because I got Wardell at 9. So
Okay.
we are actually very close.
We
with these.
we
We're
are
all,
pretty
like,
close here now. We are.
I'm amazed at how close they are. I
Yeah,
thought we'd have
it's-
very different opinions.
Yeah, I thought this was just going to be appalling, but I guess we just all have similarly terrible opinions. Mike, who do you have
It's
at
just
9?
groupthink.
Ethan.
Okay.
Oh wow, you got
Ethan at
Yeah,
9. All
quite a
right.
bit higher than I've got him.
Yeah. I have Victor at 9. It was one of the players I was adjusting a lot on this. We're actually Victor and Ethan were two that I was struggling to place. But yeah, I ended up putting Victor at 9, which is a bit higher than you, Josh, and I'm going to assume that Mike has put Victor on here somewhere. So a bit lower than Mike, but yeah, I mean, I think Victor has just been consistently really good for Envy, but I also agree that his super crazy peak was at the top of the year, but after that peak, he still has been at a really high level for the rest of the year. So
yeah, he's still been great.
like if this was near the beginning of the year, he would have been higher up, but he's still just been consistently excellent. So he's absolutely in the top 10. Mike, who do you have at 8?
Victor.
Oh, okay, pretty close. Pretty close. What are your thoughts on that placement?
Mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think he's pretty consistent now on the Sky, and then when he plays Rays, he still has pop-off series all the time. So whether it's like Ascent or Bind,
Yeah.
that's what edges him out for me over Ethan, because I think they're pretty similar in their current roles. But since when he switches over to maps where he's like either primary or secondary duelist, I still think he has like takeover series when he's playing the Rays.
All right, Josh, number 8.
Okay, here's where people are going to crucify me.
Is
Because-
it Leaf?
No, it's not actually.
Oh.
Wildly enough, this extraordinarily controversial pick.
Here we go.
Because-
we go.
I don't think there's another player. I'm cringing saying this here.
Okay.
But this is where I'm putting Sick for Sentinels. And I feel like this is low.
Okay.
Oh.
I feel like this is too low for Sick when I look at my own list. But there are some nutcase players above him.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I don't know. It's just we're now in absolute like barbarian territory where everyone's mental. So I've slotted Sick in here.
Also, still just I'm waiting for this Leaf pick. I'm waiting for it. My number 8 is Ethan. So pretty close to Mike having him in 9. I think Ethan has really found his form on Sky and has just been so crucial to 100 Thieves finally reaching their potential. It is the duo of him and Asuna that is really driving that team. And I think that he's just he was in prime form in this qualifier. His Sky is so good. So yeah, I have it Ethan. I have Ethan at 8. All right, Mike, number 7.
I have dapr.
Okay. And a little explanation as to the placement.
Because when I looked at my top 10, I wanted to balance out like duelist versus non-duelist impact. I think for the role that he plays, he has like some of the highest impact off a duelist role. Because like once I get to my top 5, it's mostly duelist except for one person. So
I only have 2 duelists in my top 5.
Really? I've got like 20 in my top 5 alone. Who do you have in 7, Josh?
This is where I put Leaf. He can't go
Okay.
any higher than this. He literally
Okay.
cannot go any higher.
You got to try and justify it right now in front of the masses. You have to attempt to justify your thinking here.
Okay, here's my thought process.
Okay.
Is that when I watch Cloud9 play, and especially when they've been playing at their peak or when they've been running over teams, it's all about Leaf. It doesn't matter what role he's on. He can play a variety of roles. I mean, somewhat like Sick, and he has incredible impact in any of them. And I think he's been such a core player for that squad. Sick to me is not one of the players that would be completely irreplaceable on Sentinels. I think those players are Shaz, obviously, and then actually dapr is like the next one to me that forms the core structure, and then Sick is third in terms of like how you would find a player. Sick is incredibly useful to the team because he can play a huge breadth of stuff, and he's a phenomenal individual player. But I think their style, their structure, that kind of stuff, he slots into it and helps it rather than creates it.
Josh,
Which I value the Shaz and dapr picks higher than Sick.
do you not open your Twitter for at least like a week? I would just say that.
I know. Listen, it's one
Someone
placement,
someone
but
had to make a flaming hot take in here. Someone
there
had
it
to,
was.
someone had to take one for the sake of the content, and I appreciate that, Josh. I appreciate that very much. In my number 7, I have Crashies, who I'm assuming is going to be even higher on your list. There's another player that I don't know. I kept bouncing back and forth between putting him slightly above some of the people around 5 and 6 and below, but I don't know, man. It was very close, and he is just fucking incredible, though. I mean, he is just the best Sova right now in NA. I was gonna have him a bit higher, but I kind of just ended up stacking. Well, you'll see, but I definitely ended up putting more of just like the all-star duelists towards the top. And Crashies kind of got pushed below some of them slightly, but I mean Crashies is just fucking incredible. So it was a tough placement for me. Who do you have in 6, Mike?
Asuna.
Asuna in 6. Interesting. Very interesting.
Also where I have Asuna.
Really, dude. Okay. I want to hear some explanations.
Is what you're seeking for why he's not higher up? Because that's the only question, right? Why isn't Asuna even higher? To me, it's just because there are fucking mental people in the top 5 that don't just do what Asuna does on Duelist, but do like have even bit to me, it's the reason that he's at 6 is because dapr and crashies push him out of the top 5 because I weight their impact on non-duelist roles so highly. Like they are doing stuff that no one else is doing on those roles, apart from Shaz, you know, when you're talking about like overall impact on non-duelist stuff. But if we're talking about, you know, like normal mortal humans, I just can't weight Asuna above people that are able to bring that level of impact on a non-duelist role. Like if you're able to do that, you've just leveled up your entire team.
Yeah. What do you think, Max?
My thing with Austin is just like I could put him higher possibly, but since he's doing this jet thing now, I think I need to see more long-term consistent results on it than just as of late.
Sure. For me in 6, this is where I placed dapr, which is kind of going in line with what I was saying, that at the end of this, when I was getting down to with the top players, I ended up kind of edging out some of the supporting players for like the god tier duelists is kind of how my list sort of ended up. So dapr is in 6 for me. Who do you have in 5, Mike?
I have sick.
Okay. Sick in 5 for Mike. Few places above Josh. Who do you have in 5? Joshua?
I've got crashies. This is where crashies is for me.
Okay.
Again, for the same reasons that I said before, because if someone can have that impact from a role where you don't often expect someone to be like the uh I don't know, like the second biggest impact on the team, you're freeing up so much space for your team's ceiling to be even higher, because there are 1,000 cracked duelist players and there are a handful of incredible supportive players that are like, on the same level as some of your
Yeah.
best duelists.
See,
So
that
I
was
rate that very highly.
So yeah, see, my thing was I kind of ended up like there are so many cracked out duelist players, but then there are just a few that are just on a different level from the cracked out duelist players, and
Yeah.
I just had to put them above. I have sick in 5 as well though, so Mike and I are on the same page with that one. It was these 5 through like 9 spots for me. I was going back and forth on these
Yeah, I
for
could
a
flip them around a
long time.
lot.
Yeah, and it's just I swear. I mean, there are so many. I don't know. I think there's a lot of valid points to be made to switch any of these to some extent. Who do you have in 4, Mike?
Crashies.
Okay, crashies in 4. Not mad at that. Not mad at that. Josh, who do you have in 4?
This is where I have dapr. I think I'm the only person that put dapr higher than sick.
Yeah.
And I think that I really do believe he is the second most integral part to the way that Sentinels works. He's easily the best Sentinel player in the world, and he has been for the last year, honestly. There haven't really been any other players that have been at his kind of level. He's literally written the book on how to play most of them, plays everything for them, huge value. He's he like yeah, he's just I think he's so important to the way that that team operates.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think at a different time I might have had him higher, but at the moment for me it's like the well we'll get to it
The
as we
jet
get there.
wave.
But in 4 I have Yay, which I'm going to assume is now lower than where both of you guys have him. But I have him in 4. I mean, Ye is obviously
Josh has
an
him at
absolute
3.
psycho
I do.
freak
I have
player.
him at 3. Yeah.
But
Mike's got him in the top 2, and he isn't number 2.
I'm not being too results dependent with this with where I was placing people, but I do wish that, or rather, I think his place will probably go up when we see more Envy games. But I want to see more of Ye on Envy and less of Ye on Andbox. And he was obviously really good on Andbox and was obviously at many points carrying that team. But I just want to see more of him on Envy playing against tier 1 competition deep in these tournaments to kind of have more information is the only reason why I don't have him higher at the moment. But that was kind of my thought there. Who do you have in 3, Mike? Shahzam in 3. Josh?
I've got Yay here.
Okay. I mean, both very reasonable in 3. What is the reason you have Shahzam there, Mike?
I think the top 2 picks, even factoring in like the IGLing, still outweigh that. I think the biggest thing for Shahzam for me is that most maps now he's playing Sova, and if he could get to a level, because I think his Sova is like fundamentally good, it's just not great. Like it does everything the team needs it to do. But if over time you could level that up, because like if you compare his Sova to like his Icebox Jet, it's like an entirely different players playing the game. And I would weigh that up with the IGLing, but I still don't think you can overcome my top 2 players for like individual skill,
Hmm.
even with the IGLing factored in.
Sure. I mean, I have him higher than you guys. I have Asuna in 3, and it's kind of the argument that I was talking about, or what I was just speaking on with Ye, is kind of why I ended up putting Asuna above him, because I feel like there's just more. There's more data out there of Asuna being in God mode on a top team against top teams, which is why I ended up putting him in 3rd. And though I do agree with the jet point you made earlier, Mike, I think that it's obvious that you know, he was fitting into the new role, and even at that has already gotten so much better on it, and could still, you know, it looks like he still has room to improve, and he's still playing it at a really high level just after switching to it for a couple months. And when he's on Reyna, he's just fucking outrageous. So I put him in 3rd, a bit due to the just the amount of games that we've now seen him in the Tier 1 NA tournaments on a Tier 1 team against Tier 1 teams, playing at a really high level. So I put him in 3rd. All right, Mike. Number 2, I know it's Ye. Yeah. Number 2, we all knew it was Ye. Josh?
My number 2 is TENZ.
He's fucking.
I've gone and done it.
Gone and done it.
I've gone and done it.
He's gone and done it.
I'll tell you the thing that shifted it for me. I'll tell you the thing that
Here we
shifted
go. Someone has to. I'm glad you came in here ready for the hot takes, Josh.
I had 2 hot takes.
Yep.
All right, I had 2 hot takes. It was, well, maybe it was like the Leaf sick thing, and then the TENZ Shaz thing as well. I have TENZ in 2nd because Shaz is in 1st, and Shaz is in 1st for me because not only is he like the IGL that's been at the top of the scene for the last year and always made the right adaptations, etc., etc. But even if you're only considering the last 3 months in terms of those performances, he's the performance that he put out at Reykjavik too was outrageous. He was absurd when it came to Reykjavik. It's only, I mean, he was only not the best player because TENZ was on a different fucking planet. But I think to me, the like, he isn't the same player when he's playing the Sova compared to the Jet. If he was in that position where he's able to play Jet like it was before, he'd still be popping the fuck off. His Sova in those big games at Reykjavik was outrageous. Like the rounds he was winning, the clutches, the information game is always perfect. Like, him being able to play the Sova just sets him up for so many of these great calls that win rounds constantly for his team. I don't know, man. I'm on the IGL goop, as you can tell, because I've got like fucking 5 of them in my top 20, and I've got to give it to him. He was winning before TENZ. He's winning now. He'll win after TENZ.
Well, I have Shazam in number 2 for all the reasons you just gave. But Mike, I'm assuming you have TENZ in number 1, unless that's where you put Hiko. All right, TENZ number 1. Josh, you have Shazam, and I also have TENZ in number 1 because despite all that, TENZ is just too much of a freak to not have it number 1. I mean, he's just too much of an absolute freak to not put in number 1. He's just too good.